From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update. Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling.
Hi, I'm Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, December 7th. A really cold day today, statewide, mostly cloudy skies as well. We're going to struggle to get out of the 20s for some locations, but just hold on because as we move through the week, it does get warmer once again. Police say they found a fake social media profile while investigating the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German. Now they need help finding the person behind the posts. State police say a profile called Anthony Shots was used from 2016 to 2017 on platforms like Snapchat and Instagram. ISP says the person portrayed themselves as being extremely wealthy and owning a lot of sports cars. They say he used the account to get personal information from girls, including nude photos and addresses. Detectives say the man who's photographed within the page is actually a known model and has nothing to do with the page and is not a person of interest. Investigators are asking anyone who communicated, met, or tried to meet with the person behind Anthony Shots to come forward. They ask you to call 765-822-3535 or use the tip email, Abby and Libby Tip at cacoshrf.com. We also have all of this information for you on wishtv.com in the As Seen on Wish TV section. Abby and Libby were found murdered the day after the girls went missing at the Monon High Bridge Trail in February of 2017.
It will be a really bloody massacre. And Russian guys also will come back in the coffins.
Ukraine's defense minister delivers a grave warning before a high-stakes meeting between the leaders of the United States and Russia. President Biden says he expects to have a long discussion with Vladimir Putin starting at 10 o'clock this morning.
This is the moment for Russia to pull back their military buildup at the border, that diplomacy is the right path forward here.
Putin stoked fears of conflict last week when he said he will not allow NATO to expand to include Ukraine. A former White House insider is cooperating with a congressional investigation into the Capitol riots. Mark Short was the chief of staff to then Vice President Mike Pence during the chaos of January 6th. CNN reports the House Select Committee is getting significant cooperation from Short. Short was sharply critical of the Trump administration's treatment of Pence and was with Pence when he escaped the Senate chamber during the insurrection. And this morning, we know that one Indiana college will require COVID-19 booster shots. Notre Dame is extending its vaccine requirement for students. The university tweeted new requirement last night. There will be an on-campus clinic next month from January 11th through the 14th. Earlier this year, the university reported that more than 90% of its student population was fully vaccinated. A troubling trend has healthcare workers in Indiana sounding the alarm of another possible winter surge of coronavirus cases. According to the State Department of Health, hospitalizations are on the rise over the last month. Just over 1,200 people were hospitalized on November 5th. That number has now doubled to just under 2,500. Dr. Graham Carlos works at Eskenazi Health. He calls the numbers nerve-wracking.
There still are a lot of unvaccinated people in our population, and they're the ones that are coming down with this super contagious Delta virus that's causing them to get sick enough to need to be in the hospital.
We spoke to several other hospitals. Community Health Network is at or near capacity due to the recent spike in COVID-19 cases. According to IU Health, the hospital system says that its hospital census is historically high with both COVID-19 and non-COVID-19 patients. More violence in Indianapolis leads to more exasperation from prominent anti-crime voices. The leader of the Indy 10 Point Coalition says after a series of new shootings, he's beyond being shocked.
So it's very troubling. It just speaks to what many of us feel like is that the violence is just out of control, and nothing we seem to be doing in the city has worked to control the violence.
A string of violence started Sunday afternoon and continued through early Monday, leaving one person dead and at least 7 more wounded. IMPD says the homicide count for the city is now 253 on the year. Pike Township School District is looking to add bus drivers. The district had walk-in interviews this morning. It was at 3950 West 56th Street. It runs until 11:30 actually today. So if you're listening to this before 11:30 Tuesday morning, you still have a chance to get over there. The pay starts at $20 an hour, according to the district. We have reported extensively here on the News 8 Daily 8, also on Daybreak and on Wish TV. Pike has struggled with in-person learning this year due to bus driver shortages. There will be another opportunity for interviews if you missed today's, with walk-ins happening again Thursday afternoon from 2 to 4. And police searched the home of the man accused of helping to hide the parents of an accused school shooter. It has been 1 week since police say Ethan Crumbley killed 4 of his classmates in Michigan. Police searching for his parents over the weekend found them at the art studio of Andre Sikora. Jennifer and James Crumbley each face 4 charges of involuntary manslaughter. Through an attorney, Sikora says he did not know the Crumbleys were wanted when he let them in Friday morning, or that they were in the studio when he left that day.
He is cooperating. His attorney is cooperating. They offered to come in. They have talked to our detectives at length.
I don't believe there's any evidence that he knew that they had provided a gun, that they were being charged, that they had warrants out for them.
The attorney for Sikora is not sharing details of his relationship with the Crumbleys other than to say he knew them, but not well. A new investigation into Emmett Till's death ends without charges again. The Justice Department says it cannot prove that Till's accuser lied to investigators in 1955 when she said the 14-year-old made advances toward her. The claims led to Till's kidnapping, torture, and killing. His death proved to be a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement. Federal investigators reopened their investigation based on the claims of a college professor who says Carolyn Bryant Donham admitted to him that she was not truthful. The investigators say they re-interviewed Donham, who is now 87, and say she adamantly denies recanting her testimony. Today marks 80 years since the attack on Pearl Harbor. On December 7, 1941, Japan attacked the U.S. Navy base in Hawaii, killing more than 2,400 service members and civilians. Each year, the Pearl Harbor National Memorial hosts events to remember the lives lost. This year, one of the veterans is attending thanks to the kindness of strangers. Ira Schaub is now 101. He says he was a Navy musician when the attack happened. He says his family couldn't afford to make the trip to Hawaii this year, so they turned to crowdfunding and got enough for the trip.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. That was very generous and unexpected and very kind. And I am forever grateful.
While he's there, Schaub will also get to meet a member of another Navy band who survived the attack as well. Okay, back here in Indianapolis, a major detour downtown. Overnight and tomorrow night from 9 in the evening to 5 in the morning, you won't be able to get into the North Split at all from westbound I-70. A lot of traffic reroutes here. The I-70 traffic goes right on past the Split and onto 65. You won't have the option of going south at all. So if you've been using Michigan Street to get into the downtown area, you'll have to go farther west to Meridian, Pennsylvania, or MLK instead. The rest of the North Split detours continue as usual. Senator Todd Young is sending a letter to the president about the global supply chain crisis. The Indiana Republican says for years he pushed for changes to prevent truck driver shortages. That bill is now law, and Young is calling for more solutions. Young is part of the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation, which wants to hear directly from the Biden administration. Young writes in the letter in part, "We have all seen the images of cargo vessels lined up for miles off the West Coast waiting to dock. This committee would benefit from the opportunity to learn how your administration is addressing the ongoing crisis and discuss potential solutions." And this morning, some IU students are reporting travel troubles. According to the university, new COVID-19 travel restrictions are impacting international students ahead of the holidays. University leaders tell News 8's Demi Johnson at this point in the pandemic, some students haven't seen their families in close to 2 years.
Changes in travel rules because of COVID-19 can be chaotic for college campuses.
We've seen and experienced students being stranded either in the United States or abroad.
Interim Associate Vice President for International Services at Indiana University, John Wilkerson, says fewer students will fly to other countries this holiday season. He says that's partially because of the uncertainty surrounding the Omicron variant, and it's just what international students have become accustomed to.
That's really the very specific challenge that international students face. Is it's not so simple for a student who returns home for the holiday break to Singapore, and right now they can enter Singapore about what if 2 weeks from now they can't? So it's not quite the same as a student who were trying to make that same trip to San Diego to go home for the holidays.
Wilkerson says throughout the pandemic, in some ways, international students have had to pay closer attention to changing protocols than other students.
They have come to rely on the information that we're putting out, that the university is sharing with them in terms of how best to protect themselves and to make sure that they're aware of what challenges they may face, and in fact, if they do face those challenges, how to utilize IU as a resource to help them to overcome them.
IU's website says more than 7,200 international students from 164 countries are enrolled at the university. Wilkerson says how many will stick around throughout winter break is unknown, but added IU's COVID response team continues to ramp up resources to prepare.
The literal social distancing that has happened has exacerbated a lot of feelings of anxiety and loneliness and, everything that all of us have felt to some degree. But imagine having those experiences, feeling those feelings, those stresses, those anxieties, and being displaced from your loved ones for years at a time.
In Indianapolis, I'm Demi Johnson for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
A spokesperson from IU tells News 8 the school is encouraging booster shots. There will be a clinic for students in the next few days, but so far there are no plans for IU to require them. New York City is implementing the most sweeping COVID-19 vaccine mandate of any large city or state. Millions of private sector employees will have to get at least one shot to keep working at the 184,000 businesses across the city. Mayor Bill de Blasio also says there will be no option to opt out through testing.
It is time. Look, this is how we put health and safety first, by ensuring that there is a vaccine mandate that reaches everyone universally in the private sector. A lot of folks in the private sector have said to me they believe in vaccination, but they're not quite sure how they can do it themselves. Well, we're going to do it.
The new mandate goes into effect December 27th. The body of longtime congressional leader Bob Dole will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol later, starting Thursday. Dole was twice the Senate Majority Leader and presidential candidate who died Sunday at 98 years old. In February, Dole revealed he was dealing with cancer. An op-ed from Dole is now in the Washington Post, published after his death. He compares the state of politics when he was in office to the more contentious current climate, writing in part, "America has never achieved greatness when Republicans and Democrats simply manage to work together or tolerate each other. We have overcome our biggest challenges only when we focus on our shared values and experiences. These common ties form much stronger bonds than political ones." Tests are being done to determine the exact cause of death of Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit. The brown colt collapsed and died after a workout yesterday at Santa Anita Park in California. The attorney for Medina Spirit's trainer, Bob Baffert, said in a statement that the horse died from a heart attack. He called Medina Spirit a great champion who is loved by all. Medina Spirit won the 147th running of the Derby back in May. It was quite controversial, then tested positive for elevated levels of an anti-inflammatory drug during a post-race drug test. Indianapolis Animal Care Services is asking for the public's help after dozens of rabbits were found abandoned on the east side. IACS says more than 50 domesticated bunnies were found running loose in a neighborhood near 42nd Street and Post Road. According to the shelter, one rabbit died and several others were hurt. Abandoning an animal on public or private property is against Marion County Code. The shelter says it hopes someone will come forward with information. It's also accepting donations to help with medical care. And finally, Purdue fans are waking up with something new to celebrate. For the first time in school history, the men's basketball team is #1. The Boilers are sitting in the top spot in the Associated Press Top 25 college basketball poll. The #1 spot was previously held by Duke. Head coach Matt Painter says the team expects to stay there.
Our goal is to end there, to be one of the better teams going into the NCAA tournament and then making a long run in the NCAA tournament, but we know how tough that is.
The Boilers begin their run as #1 with an away game Thursday night against Rutgers. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.